Hey there, and welcome back to Fear Factor Friday, the series where I break down the psychology, storytelling tools, and behind-the-scenes techniques that make horror truly terrifying. Today's fear isn't about monsters, killers, or the supernatural. It's about something far more personal: guilt. In horror, guilt doesn't just exist as an emotion. It becomes a mechanism, a force that drives the narrative forward, manifests fear, and punishes characters from the inside out. And that's exactly why it works so well. Most horror threats are external. They come from outside the character and can be confronted, escaped, or destroyed. Guilt doesn't work that way. Guilt lives inside the character. It speaks in their own voice. It knows their memories, their secrets, and the moments they wish they could undo. That intimacy makes it uniquely dangerous. In guilt-driven horror, the monster doesn't need to hunt. It waits because it knows the character can't run from themselves. One reason guilt is so effective is that it carries a sense of justice. Characters don't just feel afraid, they feel responsible. That changes the emotional tone of the story. Instead of asking, how do I survive? They start asking, do I deserve to? Horror weaponizes this shift. When fear feels earned, resistance weakens. Characters hesitate, self-sabotage, and make choices that lead them deeper into danger. The audience feels that tension too, caught between empathy and judgment. Horror rarely leaves guilt abstract. It gives it shape. Guilt becomes hauntings, hallucinations, repeating visions, and physical manifestations of past actions. This externalization allows horror to visualize something invisible. The threat may look supernatural, but its roots are emotional. And this is where films like Flatliners are especially effective. Guilt doesn't haunt the characters psychologically, it actively intrudes on their reality, forcing confrontation. Guilt weakens characters from the inside. They second-guess themselves, they hesitate when they should act, they accept punishment instead of fighting back. From a storytelling perspective, this is powerful because it creates tension without needing escalation. The character's own conscience becomes an obstacle. Now, the fear isn't about being overpowered, it's about self-denial. The mind becomes complicit in its own suffering. Unlike monsters or curses, guilt is universal. Everyone has moments they regret. Everyone has things they wish they'd handled differently. Horror exaggerates that experience and asks a terrifying question. What if your guilt demanded payment? That familiarity is why guilt-based horror sticks. It doesn't rely on shock. It relies on recognition. The audience understands the emotional logic, even if the events are extreme. From a craft perspective, guilt is endlessly flexible. It fits psychological and supernatural horror, requires minimal explanation, allows character-driven fear, and creates natural escalation. For writers and filmmakers, guilt is a built-in motivator. It doesn't need exposition. The audience fills in the emotional gaps on their own. That makes guilt one of horror's most efficient engines. So the next time a horror story seems to punish its characters from the inside, look closer. Chances are guilt is doing most of the work, turning memory into menace and emotion into terror. Now, if you like diving deeper into what makes horror truly terrifying, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. If you're a writer looking for ways to improve your stories, subscribe to my Substack where I share writing tips and advice. And if you just want more horror and writing related content, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. You can find all those links in my bio. Until next time, remember, guilt always collects.